Pickup trucks can attract a wide range of potential customers. For example, on one hand, you might have a farmer after a rugged off-roader for pottering about their farming, and on the other, you might have a company car driver looking to exploit the pickup's commercial vehicle classification and avoid costly company car tax. But one thing's for sure, there's plenty of them on offer in the market, with the likes of the Volkswagen Amarok, the Ford Ranger, and the Mitsubishi L200. So what of the Series 5 L200? Well, it's had quite a significant revamp on the inside, and it's also got a new, more efficient engine. But is it more like a car or more like a van? Well, Mitsubishi would certainly like you to think the former, which is pretty clear when you step into the cabin, or jump in this case. Well, first off, as you can see, there's a handle mounted on the A-pillar, which helps you climb in, very van-like. But once you sat in here, you might actually be fooled into thinking you were sat inside an SUV, as the dashboard is much nicer and, well, there's less dull grey plastics. With that said though, the plastics are still hard wearing, so the L200 should still look good after years of abuse. Now, we do have the Barbarian trim, which is top of the range, but with that said, every model comes with the likes of aircon, steering wheel mounted controls and Bluetooth. If you do go for the Barbarian trim, then you get the likes of sat-nav, a rear view camera, definitely recommended, leather upholstery and some rather atmospheric mood lighting. One thing I will say though, in terms of operating this infotainment system, it's a bit like venturing down a rabbit hole because it's really hard to get your head around, so we definitely recommend getting to grips with it before you set off on the road. Thankfully though, the cabin doesn't disappoint when it comes to convenience, as there's plenty of adjustments in the driver's seat. There's some nice large wing mirrors, which I particularly like, and there's also plenty of cubby holes dotted around, so you can store pretty much anything you've got in your pockets or in your bags. Space in the rear is similar to that of an SUV, with plenty of legroom, 41mm more than the Ford Ranger in fact, and decent headroom as well. Also, because this rear window is right here, you get plenty of light flooding through. Right, let's talk about towing. The L200 has a combined carrying and towing weight of 4.1 tonnes, and that equates to a brake towing weight of 3.1 tonnes, which is class leading. The load bed is also quite impressive, but it's not quite as big as the Volkswagen Amaroks. Another thing to bear in mind is that the double cab model that we've got is the only one available from launch, with the likes of the single cab models coming at a later date. Right, enough about that. Let's see what the all-wheel drive can do. Maybe it's best starting with what the L200 doesn't have, and that's not much, which is hill descent control, something that the Ranger and the Amarok do offer. But to be honest, the L200 is probably the closest thing you can get to a monster truck without crushing other cars like tin cans. The L200 incorporates the new Super Select all-wheel drive system, and this adds several different modes to choose from, and it's operated via this easy-to-use dial. There's two-wheel drive mode for road driving, all-wheel drive for added grip when you're driving in the likes of the rain, four-wheel drive lock mode for uneven ground, or you can stop and activate four-wheel drive low range mode, and that maximizes traction and offers lowered gear ratios for more pulling power when you're driving in the likes of snow or sand. And the traction and the grip in this mode is absolutely brilliant. To be honest, all you need to know about the off-road capabilities of the L200 is that it can get you in and out of pretty much anywhere, be it a sludgy field or probably even a volcano. So, we know it's a Barbarian off-road, but what about when it's on it? Well, one of the first things you'll notice is the sharper steering, which of course makes it feel more like a traditional car. And you know what? For a car with such impressive towing capacity, the suspension's actually surprisingly supple. A few things that do shout pickup pedigree though is the trembling gear stick, which to be fair isn't as bad as it was in the last model, and the long throw in the gearbox. And that brings me on to the engine. Under the bonnet is a growling 2.4 litre turbo diesel producing 178 brake horsepower. Now, at first, this engine doesn't seem to offer any surplus power, and you'll probably be prompted to quickly change gear due to the sheer noise of it. But if you hold on a bit and hold on to the revs till about 2,500 RPM in fact, then there's a little pocket of power. Fuel economy wise, it's 20% better than the last model, claiming an average of just under 43 miles per gallon, which isn't totally unrealistic. I mean, we've been getting around 40 miles per gallon, which is class leading. CO2 is just 169 grams per kilometre, again, class leading. what's it like when it comes to price? Well, at just under 20 grand, the Volkswagen Amarok is pretty much the only car that's more expensive than it. But then you've got to consider, what are you actually getting for that starting price? But if you're after a pickup that has the comfort and convenience of a car, but can still pull a Jekyll and Hyde and turn into the ultimate off-roading machine, then the L200 is absolutely spot on. What do you think of the L200? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. To research your next car and find great deals, visit carkeys.co.uk, and to watch more reviews, click one of the links at the end of the video.